Hello everyone, this is Easy Natural English with Liam, and today I want to give you some simple phrases that will help you to connect your English in a more natural way, because I think a lot of students, even when they speak English very well, they have some difficulty putting sentences together, and I think this is one of the tricks or one of the keys to sounding more natural and more like a native speaker. And it will also make your conversation flow a bit easier. So first off, I want to start about words you can use when you're thinking. Because if you're speaking to somebody and you just stop speaking, it's a bit not only unnatural, but a bit uncomfortable. If someone's talking and then they just go, oh, it's a bit strange. So here's some words that native speakers use when they're thinking. So the first one I want to point out is important because I hear a lot of students say, how to say, and then they think, but this is wrong. So don't say that phrase. It's a bit confusing, because you'll see books called How to Speak English or How to Train Your Dog, but that's only for titles of books. In speaking, you can't start a sentence with how to blah, blah, blah. You can't begin a sentence like that. So if you want to say that type of thing, you can say, how should I say this? How should I say this? So when something is a bit hard to say, that is the phrase we would use. How should I say this? Next, and this one is one I don't hear students use much, but you should use it because this is one that native speakers use a lot. So when we forget the name of something, we say, what is it called? What is it called? So yeah, if you can't remember the name of something, what is it called? Or we say, what do you call it? What do you call it? But you doesn't mean you. It means you in general, everybody. So what do you call it? What do you call it? Oh yes, a book. If you maybe forget the word for a book. But yeah, maybe something like an iPhone. What is it called? Oh yeah, an iPhone. Yeah. So yeah, it's a very useful phrase for when you're forgetting words. And another phrase for the same situation is we say, what is it again? What is it again? And this again is very useful when you forget details. So for example, if you forget the name of something or you forget a word you want to use, you can say, what is it again? Or what is that word again? Or for example, if you forget someone's name, you can say, what's his name again? What's the name of that actor again? So when you put this again, it tells the person that you do know this, but you just can't remember it. So if you forget somebody's name, who you're talking to, and you say, what's your name? Maybe they'll think, I told you my name already. I told you my name. But if you say, what's your name again? What's your name again? Then it means, I know you told me, but I can't remember. So it's a very useful phrase to use. Another simple phrase you can use when you're thinking is just, It's not even a phrase really, it's just a noise. But people who speak different languages use different noises. And if you want to sound really natural, then it's good to use the English sound, which is I used to work in a bar in France, and when French customers would come into the bar, they would look at the menu and go, so I knew I should speak French. If English speakers came in, they'd look at the menu and go, and I knew I should be speaking English. Yeah, so it really makes a difference when you're speaking. Yeah, and Spanish speakers used to look at the menu and go, eh. So I could tell where somebody was from just from the noise they were making when they're thinking. So if you start saying, it'll make you sound more like an English speaker. Okay, and the next category of words I want to look at is how to bring up topics or how to change the topic. Because again, this is something that's quite difficult. I know I find this difficult in other languages when I want to start speaking about something. How do you suddenly start with a topic? It's a bit strange to just say, my dog ran away. Just to begin a sentence, it's a little bit strange. So we usually bring up topics with a few of these words, which I'm going to tell you now. So one we use a lot, and you've probably heard English speakers use before, is you know. And this we use this when we know that the other person knows this thing. So, for example, if we talk about Brad Pitt, he's very famous. So, we all know who Brad Pitt is, I think. So you can say to your friend, Brad Pitt. And you're not really asking them, because if you're really asking them, you would say, do you know Brad Pitt? But they know. So we just say, Brad Pitt? He's 57. He's 57 years old. Because he looks young, but yeah, he's actually pretty old. So yeah, when you want to bring up something you know that they know. Star Wars? It's a good movie. Or, the Queen of England? Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, when they know something, but you just want to talk about it, that's an easy way to bring it up. And you'll notice that native speakers use this phrase so much that sometimes it has no meaning. Sometimes people say, I really like ice cream. So it doesn't necessarily mean I know, it just makes your phrase like it just is a way to just put in something you want to talk about. So, I really like riding bicycles. You can just put it in sometimes, and you'll see native speakers do that a lot. So another one that we can use is anyway. So if you want to change the topic, or if you feel like the last topic has kind of died, so if you were talking about, for example, the coronavirus, we're all talking about coronavirus at the moment. You're talking about coronavirus, and that conversation starts to come to an end. You feel like you don't have anything else to say. Then you can say, anyway, I'm going to the cinema tomorrow, and I don't know what movie to watch. So you can jump to another topic. Yeah, it's very useful when one conversation is dying, and then you say, anyway, have you seen David recently? If you have a friend called David or something like that. Yeah, very useful phrase to just jump into another topic. And a similar word we use for same situation is so. And you'll notice that native speakers use this a lot. I notice that when I edit my videos, I catch myself saying so many, many times. So when we want to introduce a topic or just start a sentence, we often just start with so. So if you wanted to tell someone about my YouTube channel, you could say, so there's this guy on YouTube called Liam. He makes English learning videos. So blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you can just use that for quite a lot of cases to just start talking about a topic. And it sounds more natural than just beginning with your sentence. Another one that we use when you want to give somebody some information, like you want to tell somebody something that you might think is important or you think they should know. For example, if there's a new guy who started working in your office, you could say to your colleague, if you're talking about something else and then you think, oh yeah, he should know that there's a new colleague, a new coworker. You say, oh, by the way, there's a new guy in the office. By the way. So it's like just a quick bit of information you need to give someone. And this one you should be careful with, because I think a lot of students learn this phrase, by the way, and they often, when I talk to students, they use this phrase a lot to try to start sentences. And sometimes it sounds a bit unnatural. So it can't just be used any time. Like I said, it's when you feel like you need to give a bit of information to somebody. Like, by the way, I'm going to be late for work tomorrow. Or, by the way, that movie you told me about, it was really good. So it's kind of telling, when you're telling somebody something. And a similar phrase we use is just to let you know. So again, it's when you want to give someone a bit of information, like just to let you know, I'll be late for work tomorrow. or just to let you know, I'm leaving early tomorrow, or just to let you know, there's a package arriving today. So when you just tell somebody something that you think they might need to know about, yeah, just to let you know. Okay, and another one that we use to bring up topics is, well, not to bring up topics, but to speak about a topic that the other person might have mentioned, might have said. So if your friend or whoever you're talking to is talking about Netflix, so they're saying, I really like Netflix, it's a useful service, they have English subtitles, I can use it to study English, then you can, and you want to talk about that topic as well, like also, you can say, oh, speaking of Netflix, have you seen Stranger Things? So Stranger Things is the name of a series on Netflix. It's a fun mystery show if you like that kind of thing, about monsters and things. So yeah, they're talking about Netflix, and you can go, oh, speaking of Netflix. So it means like, oh, while we're on this topic, you see, like while we're on this topic, I want to say something about that topic. So if they're talking about your friend David, who we mentioned earlier, oh, speaking of David, he bought a new house or something. So yeah, you can sort of jump on someone else's topic by using this speaking of blah, blah, blah. Okay, and the last phrases I want to talk to you about is phrases to finish a conversation. And again, this is one we need to be careful with, because I hear students make a few mistakes in this kind of area of the conversation. So sometimes students say, finally, blah, blah, blah. And when they say finally, I think what they want to say is something like in conclusion. So like kind of end of their story. They say finally, blah, blah, blah. But that's actually not what that word means. Finally is something that you did after a long time of not doing it or not being able to do it. So, for example, if there's a new movie that comes out, like perhaps a new Mission Impossible movie, Tom Cruise, a new Mission Impossible movie. I don't know how many there are now, maybe number 6 or something. So there's a new Mission Impossible movie and your friend really likes it. They talked about it for a long time and you didn't go and see it. You didn't go and see it. You didn't go and see it. And then you do see it after a long time of not seeing it. And you can say to your friend, oh, I finally saw the new Mission Impossible movie. Or finally, I saw the Mission Impossible movie. So it means after a long time of not doing it, I finally did it. I did it in the end. So yeah, I was looking for a job for a long time, couldn't find a job. Finally, I found a job. You see, so it means sort of the end of the story, but it means something that didn't happen for a long time and then it did happen. So that's when we use the word finally. So in place of that, so because we can't use finally to mean just in conclusion in a general way, but we can use in the end. So usually, and yeah, you'll definitely hear native speakers using this one a lot. When you're telling a story, you talk about all these things that were happening, maybe good things were happening, bad things were happening, and then you get to the end of your story, and we say, in the end, it was all okay. So for example, yesterday, my car broke down, my car stopped in the street. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have my mobile phone, my cell phone, but in the end, somebody came past and helped me. You see, so it's like the conclusion to a story in the end. Yeah. So I was looking for a new house. We looked in the city. We looked in the countryside. In the end, we bought a house in the city. So yeah, to conclude a story or to summarize a story, we can use in the end. Another one that we can use is basically. And basically is more like a word to summarize something. So especially like if you feel like you're you're giving too many details. So for example, if you have a job with computers, if you work with computers, perhaps it's quite a technical job, and other people who don't work in computers, maybe they don't understand what you're talking about. So you might be saying like, yeah, I'm a programmer and I use C++ coding language. And you see the other person is looking at you like, what are you talking about? And you can say, basically, I work with computers. So it means like the short story or the easy summary of this, basically it's like this. So if you're explaining a movie to somebody and it's getting very complicated, you're like, yeah, this character, he's really funny. And there's this other character, he works in a bank, and there's this other character. And then your friend, again, you're thinking, okay, I should just summarize, I should end this, what I'm saying. You just say, basically it's a comedy movie, or basically it's a really good movie. So it's a way to just summarize something at the end. And the last phrase I want to talk about is one that you've probably heard me mention before, and that is kind of. So I've mentioned this phrase a few times before because it's a really important phrase that native speakers use a lot. So again, it's kind of similar to basically. It's when you don't want to give all of the details. And, if you're talking to your friend about this complicated movie, you can say, it's kind of a comedy movie. So it's a way just to simplify something. It's kind of a long story, you can say. So it means it is a long story. It's a way to kind of soften that phrase a bit, or just like, make that phrase flow a bit smoother. It's kind of a fun. I've totally run out of examples now. There's too many examples for today. So it's kind of a book about English grammar or something like that. So anyway, that's basically all I have to say today. I hope these phrases were useful for you. Let me know in the comments if there are any that I didn't include that you thought would be useful, or let me know if there are any of these phrases you couldn't quite understand. Perhaps I can help you. Also, don't forget to don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Everybody share with your friends, and I will see you all back here next time.